Thanks, Eric, for the introduction, and thanks for your insights into what's going on in the Yukon and what I think you and I also believe is going to be and is one of the best places in the world to be exploring right now. So my name is Greg Hayes. I'm the president of Northern Tiger Resources, a Yukon-focused company looking for gold and copper. A couple of charts that are somewhat similar to some of the stuff Eric showed, but I'll make a couple of points on these. Again, first off, the exploration expenditures have really been growing rapidly up there. So they were, running around $10 million a year for quite a while, hit $160 million last year, and we think they will be significantly higher again. And the good thing about it is that the exploration expenditures are achieving a lot of success. So there's been a number of companies that have had great sort of brownfield success around existing projects. But in particular, 3 companies that have had really, really great new discoveries from completely grassroots sort of projects. And those are, as Eric mentioned, started with Underworld Resources, and then Kaminak and Attack have continued to kind of bring things forward for that. The development side also shows another great thing about the Yukon. Not only can you make new discoveries, but once you have the new deposit, you can build a mine. So starting in 2007, there's been 3 companies that have really rapidly gone through the permitting and construction phase to put new mines into production. Starting in 2006, 2007, that's primarily due to the construction of the Capstone's high-grade Minto mine. And then in 2009, 2010, we have Alexco's Balkino mine and Yukon Zinc's Wolverine mine. You can really see the momentum that's starting to build in the Yukon. About, again, 10,000 claims a year were being staked for a decade or so, and 160,000 were staked in 2010. And again, we expect that number to be significantly higher again in 2011. The other thing about the momentum that I can tell you is that it's really gaining in the investment community as well. I think 2 years ago, some of the finance community in this town, in Vancouver, had heard about the new Yukon gold rush and were starting to pay attention to that. I think last year, some people in Toronto started to sit up and take notice. And I can tell you now that, we get regular phone calls from New York and London and Europe that are pretty interested in this stuff. We're still a very small exploration company, but we have institutional shareholders in all of those jurisdictions. So the whole, the much broader community is definitely starting to take notice of what's going on in the Yukon. I'll shift gears a bit out of sort of the general Yukon stuff and talk about my company in particular. We have a management team that has a lot of experience in Northern Canada. We're focused on the Yukon, and we intend to stay up there, especially given all of the excitement that's being generated up there right now. We have a new high-grade gold discovery at 3 Ace property, which is pretty exciting to us. Right beside 3 Ace is another very prospective property we feel called the Sprague. We're in the process of optioning that property from Alexco and Newmont Resources. We're also exploring a large copper-gold moly system at Sonora Gulch in the central Yukon. We have 83 million shares outstanding and $5 million in the bank. Just an overview map of the Yukon to give you some reference about where our projects are. Sonora Gulch in the central Yukon, and our new 3 Ace project in the southeast. A couple of pictures of our project. The first top picture shows our initial exploration camp this year. It's straddling an all-weather road that was built to the Cantong tungsten mine, so by Yukon standards, we have great access to this new project. And the second picture shows Alex McMillan standing next to the Discovery vein. He's the First Nations prospector we optioned the property from this year. And I think that demonstrates another great thing about the Yukon. People have been looking for gold in the Yukon for over 100 years, since the days of the Klondike Gold Rush. So some people might think it's a pretty mature district and that it might be, difficult to make new discoveries. But the fact is that in our case, Alex, he's in his 60s, he's pretty fit for his age, but he parked his truck on the road down there and hiked in a couple of kilometers, sat down beside a quartz vein for his lunch, and ended up being one of the highest grade outcrops probably ever reported in the Yukon. So there's still a lot of room for simple discoveries to be made. Just the kind of boots and hammer kind of prospecting can still have a lot of success in the Yukon. This is a picture of a gold rock from the Discovery vein. Pretty spectacular specimen for us. Essentially, a lot of the cracks and cavities in the vein are basically filled with gold, and there's a lot of disseminated gold in the vein as well. So we were able to generate some pretty impressive numbers from sampling around this particular vein. So we've had up to 4,800 grams per ton from grab samples, and a chip sample across the vein where it was outcropping in that previous picture gave us a little over 1,000 grams per ton over a meter. We ended up putting 3 holes into the Discovery vein this year, and were rewarded with some good initial hits. 30 meters of 4.3 grams, and then about 60 meters south of that, we kind of hit the main vein and got 145 grams per ton over a meter. We drilled in a second area called the Sleeping Giant Zone, put in 6 holes. 5 of those hit significant gold mineralized structures. Not the super high grades we saw in the main zone, but still encouraging for us. Surface exploration here saw visible gold in several of our hand samples, and we've had assays up to 86 grams in grab samples. What's significant for us about Sleeping Giant is kind of what it shows us about the big picture of it. It's a parallel structure to the main zone. It's about 1 kilometer away and over 300 meters difference elevation. So, and we did fluid inclusion studies. Our initial studies have indicated that the fluids that form the main zone and the Sleeping Giant zone are the same. So we're encouraged that we're looking at a big system with some substantial size potential and depth potential. Third zone, Green Zone West, we haven't done any drilling on this yet, but we are planning on making this a big focus of our 2011 drill program. Large anomaly, it's about 1,000 meters by 500 meters already, quite robust, 150 parts per billion average gold in soils, and lots of rock samples have run in excess of 1 gram as well. We anticipate that Green Zone West, along with the main zone, will be a focus of our drill program in 2011, but we'll also have explored a few exploratory holes on a number of other targets that are emerging on the property. I don't know if you can read many of those numbers or not, but this map really shows why we're excited about the project. Again, we just acquired it this year. We've actually only done about a 7-week surface exploration program with a small team, and what we found was widespread high-grade gold mineralization over an area of about 4 square kilometers. So we've got many multi-gram rock samples in that area, and really quite a few actually multi-ounce rock samples as well. So given the small amount of work we've done there, we're really excited about its potential and what we'll find with a much more aggressive program in 2011. What's been exciting about it too is just how fast it's come on. Again, we acquired the project in April. We first got out on the ground in July. Our initial results were so exciting we decided to do a late season drill program, which we commenced in September, and by November we'd announced the first significant gold discovery holes in a whole new district of the Yukon. So 3Ace has really captured the limelight for Northern Tiger, but we have some other properties we're quite excited about as well. The Bond, Dad, Mel, Dell, and Lead properties are all properties we acquired from Capstone. They have the operating Minto mine, which is the mine symbol there, and they're all prospective for high-grade copper mineralization. Sonora Gulch has been our principal property, and we're exploring a large gold-copper moly system there as well. And this central area of the Yukon is really where the heart of the new Yukon gold rush has been focused. Great address to be in. Number 1 is Underworld's Golden Saddle Zone. Number 2 is Coffee's Kaminak property, where they've had great success with their first drill program in 2010. Number 3 is Western Copper's billion-ton copper-gold moly porphyry. Number 4 is a 1,000,000-ounce gold resource of Northern Freegolds. Number 5 is another high-grade copper deposit. So it's a pretty good address to be in. Sonora Gulch itself is about 9 square kilometer gold and soil anomaly, 56 parts per billion gold over the whole 9 square kilometers. So another very large, very robust gold and soil anomaly. We've had some pretty good intercepts in a number of different zones. We're quite excited about the gold vein zone, which was our best hit in 2010. That's really the only hole we have in that zone, and we got a pretty good hit there, and it's a very large anomaly there. We also have an exploration alliance with Capstone Mining, and my time is up.